Hi guys and welcome. Thank you so much for being here and watching this video. Today I'm going to talk about the lash glue and some myths about retention. I hope you guys gonna enjoy this video and please don't hesitate to visit our website if you have any questions regarding this sensitive topic, or just contact me directly and I can help you out. Okay, so before we start, I want to introduce myself. So for those of us who don't know me, my name is Cynthia and I'm the founder and owner of Lash. I've been in the lash industry since 2017, since end of 2017, as an artist and as an educator. Since 2010, so since the beginning of the lockdown in the UK, I've been focusing on creating digital lash illustrations and manuals and all sorts of different digital products for myself and for others. And actually since this January, I completely stopped lashing and seeing clients because I'm just so busy with the manuals and creating all these digital products for other lash brands that I had to, I choose to stop seeing clients so I can focus all my energy on this. Okay, so enough of that and let's jump into our topic today about the lash glue. But first, let's discuss what does having a good retention means in this industry. So as an artist, you are supposed to be able to guarantee your clients perfect retention. Achieving perfect retention is when the extension only falls off attached to the client's eyelash due to natural shedding. If you created a strong bond, nothing should break that bond between the natural eyelash and the glued-on extension. So when your client brushes their lashes and some extensions come off and they have a close look at it and there is no natural eyelash attached to that extension, that means that something in the preparation or application process was incorrect. Okay, so let's look at the ingredients of the glue, but before we start, I want to remind everyone that there is no such thing as magic glue, and there is no such thing as one glue is better than the other, because the ingredients of the glue from brand to brand are pretty much the same, so they are all cyanoacrylate based. I see this quite often in lash groups actually, that people are still blaming the glue for having bad retention and spending a ton of money trying to find the one and only maximum retention glue. Well, I'm gonna have to disappoint you that it doesn't exist. So it basically all comes down to the amount of glue you use in different room conditions and how you prepare the natural lashes. So there is no such thing as magic glue out there, it's just good marketing, so don't let it fool you guys. Right, okay, so let's break it down. So majority of the glues on the market nowadays have 4 components. Our first ingredient is called cyanoacrylate, and this is the base chemical that is in most eyelash extension adhesives you will find. It gives the glue its sticking quality. Cyanoacrylate cures with the presence of moisture in the air. So basically, the greater the moisture content, the quicker the cure, if that makes sense. So more moisture in the air, your glue will dry faster. Our second ingredient is PMMA, so polymethyl methacrylate, but let's just call it PMMA. So polymethyl methacrylate is a mouthful, so we're just gonna refer to it as PMMA. PMMA is used in eyelash extension adhesives to basically strengthen ethyl cyanoacrylate. Our third ingredient is, I just lost my, hold on, just lost my iPod. So our third ingredient is stabilizer. Okay, so our third ingredient is stabilizer. If you ever wondered why eyelash adhesive stays liquid in the bottle but hardens once it's applied, that is because of the stabilizer. So the stabilizer basically keeps the glue in a liquid form, and it determines the curing speed of the glue. Our fourth ingredient is carbon black. Carbon black is basically a form of solid carbon that can be used as a dye to give the lash adhesive a rich dark and black finish. Obviously you won't find carbon black in clear adhesives, only in black ones. Okay, so the four main ingredients is cyanocrylate, PMMA, stabilizer and carbon black. Right, so because there are more than just one ingredient in our glue, there will be a separation of layers caused by the difference in the density of each component. So usually carbon black gives the deep jet black color to the lash adhesive, and this is the heaviest of the ingredients, so it will sit at the bottom of the bottle when you don't shake the glue properly. Cyanocrylate and stabilizer are lighter, therefore they will stay on the top in your bottle. If you don't shake the glue properly, you will be dispensing the top layer only. And basically after lashing with cyanocrylate alone for several days, because you didn't shake the glue properly, you might slowly notice that your adhesive is getting thicker, the lashes might stop adhering, and you might get a lot of brush offs. So the bottle still look full. However, at this point you will be trying to lash with less and less cyanocrylate and more carbon black, because the ideal ration in the bottle has changed, and if the glue is shaken but not well enough over time, you will have the same issue. So basically this is why it's so necessary to shake your glue to mix all the ingredients of the glue properly. This way you will basically ensure that the optimum performance and retention of the glue. So always shake. So every time you dispense a bottle, but I think this is kind of common sense at this point, but you have to shake your glue. And I just lost my earbud again. Okay, so 3 things to consider when choosing a new glue. First is your speed. If you're a beginner lash artist, choose a glue with a slower drying time, such as 2 to 3 seconds, as this will allow you to have more time to attach and adjust the extension correctly to the natural line lash. The curing time of the glue you are using won't determine how good of an artist you are, so please don't buy the super fast glues just because you think that will make you work better or speed things up. It will only cause you headaches and unhappy clients, because it will more likely to dry before you can reach a natural lash with the extension. Anyway, so if you're a beginner, please choose a suitable glue with a slower drying time, and don't forget that lashes are an art and it takes time to do them correctly. So plus there's so many people think that if they buy the 0.2 second glue that, you know, they are the best, you know, artists out there, and it's not correct. I've been lashing for 4 years. I mean, not anymore, but I was a lash artist for 4 years, and I think the glue I used was around 1.5 to 2 seconds, because that gave me enough time to wrap the extension around correctly and, you know, adjust it if I had to. So there is no shame in using slower glues, guys, okay? So when it comes to application, I always recommend for beginners to first isolate the natural lash and then pick up the glue, not the other way around. The reason is because if you pick up the glue before you isolate, that glue will start curing while you are trying to isolate the natural lash. So which means it's more likely that there's gonna be at least half cured glue when you reach a natural lash, if that makes sense. If you're a bit more experienced and you are confident in your skills, you can obviously choose a faster drying glue. I personally like to use as I mentioned, 1.5 to 2 second glue, which still have a thin consistency. So the second thing to consider is your room condition. If your room condition is hot and humid, choose a slower glue, 2 to 3 second one. And if your room condition is a bit colder and cool and dry, choose a faster glue, such as a 0.5 to 1 second one. Actually, that was the third condition. So your speed, your experience, and your room condition. Okay, guys? Right, now that we know the ingredients of the lash glue and how they work, let's talk about the things that can affect the glue of the bond. So the first thing that I want to mention is the pH of the natural lashes. So the higher the pH of the natural lash, the faster the glue will cure, and the lower the pH of the natural eyelash, the slower the glue will cure. So everyone's hair and lashes have different pH, and some more alkaline and some more acidic. And this is why you might have noticed this with your clients, that the same glue works differently on each client. So I'm gonna explain how to control different lash surfaces so your glue will work in every situation. Okay, so first let's have a look at lashes with higher pH. These lashes tend to have a rougher surface as their cuticles are slightly open. The lashes that have higher porosity will be able to absorb more moisture better, which will help to create a stronger bond with the glue and seal the extension in for longer. Because certain type of lashes have higher pH, because certain type of natural lashes have higher pH, the glue will naturally cure faster when we apply the extensions to them. So you don't have to add any extra moisture to these natural lashes. Low porosity lashes on the other side have a much smoother surface. As you can see, that's the second illustration. So low porosity lashes on the other side have much smoother surface because the hair cuticles are firmly closed, which means the glue will adhere slower. This is when you notice that the extensions just don't want to stick or they constantly sliding off. It is because of the low pH of the natural lashes and the shiny, smooth surface. In this case, we need to add some moisture and make the natural lashes a little bit more porous so they can absorb the glue better. I hope that makes sense. If you feel like the glue is not sticking to the extensions or they're just sliding off, even when everything else seems perfectly fine, your room condition, your humidity or temperature, just add some distilled water with a micro brush to the surface of the natural lashes to basically add some moisture to that natural lash. Then wait a couple of minutes before you continue, because we don't want to have any white residues on the glue. So basically we don't want to have any shock polymerization to happen. The other thing I was gonna say is that I know that a lot of big brands are selling 5 different types of pre-treatments and all these magic liquids with the magic glues, but most of them are alcohol-based products. So as soon as you apply any alcohol-based product to the natural lash, that product is basically going to dry the natural lash out and it won't have any moisture in it. So so I would just avoid using them. Like any alcohol-based product, you don't need to use anything. All you need to do is just lash shampoo and some distilled water. And especially if you let's say you see that client every 2 weeks for an infill for month or years, and you use alcohol-based products on them, eventually you're gonna cause damage to the natural lash, because the alcohol will penetrate the natural lash and cause the hair follicle to sink. I mean, it's not gonna happen within a week or two, but eventually, especially when you overdo it. So I would just definitely recommend to avoid using any synthetic, alcohol-based product on the natural lashes, okay? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about glue uses. Glue usage. So many lash artists think that they have to use the smallest amount of glue as possible in order to create a flawless set. Well, let me tell you that this is incorrect. Obviously, if you are using too much glue, you can cause damage to the natural lash. So you have to find that golden middle to make the extension last, but don't cause damage to the lashes, if that makes sense. So the ideal attachment zone between the extension and the natural lash is around 2 millimeters, or 1/3 of the length of the extension. So the attachment zone is where the base of the extension is coated in adhesive, so that it creates an unbreakable bond basically between the natural eyelash and the extension. This area is, as I mentioned, approximately 2 millimeters, and this 2 millimeters should increase if your extension length increases. So as you can see, for example, the first illustration, so that's an 8 millimeter extension, and then we have the 9, 10 and 11 and so on. So the extension length increases and the glue zone increases with it. I hope that makes sense. So if your attachment zone is smaller than the recommended, so if you only dip, let's say, just a millimeter, or half of that millimeter, let's say, so then you probably won't, then you won't create that that attachment, so then the recommended your extension. So basically, if your attachment zone is smaller than the recommended, your extension probably won't stay on as long as they are supposed to. However, different humidity levels in your environment will have an effect on the curing time of the lash glue, and you should also adjust the amount of glue you use to avoid stickies. So let's talk a bit about what happens if the humidity is too high in your lash room. So if the humidity is too high, it can cause shock polymerization of the adhesive. This shock polymerization can lead to shrinking process of the adhesive layer, and it can weaken the bond. So in high humidity, your adhesive will cure faster than usual because of the extra moisture in the air. The adhesive may partially cure before you are able to attach the extension to the natural lash, which may result in poor quality bonding. This can happen if your humidity is over 65 or let's say 70% in your lash room. So all eyelash glues contain cyanoacrylate, as we already talked about it, and cyanoacrylate react strongly to humidity, or the lack of it basically. In case of too high humidity levels in the air, the cyanoacrylate in the glue cures too fast, causing shock polymerization. In case of too low humidity levels in the air, the cyanoacrylate in the glue does not cure fast enough, and the lashes will not get attached well enough. The extensions will not get attached well enough to the natural lash. So if the humidity is lower than 45, I recommend you to invest in a humidifier to raise the humidity level, and if it's higher than 65, invest in a dehumidifier to lower the humidity level. It's a one-time, purchase, or let's call it investment. It's a one-time investment, and it's so worth it, guys. If you can't keep your humidity level in your lash room, at a steady, I would say 50-55, then I recommend you to invest in a humidifier or dehumidifier to avoid any client complaints. Okay, so remember to also change your glue dot more regularly to increase the... Okay, so remember to also change your glue dot more regularly. The increased humidity won't just cure the glue more quickly on the lashes, but also on your jade stone or glue holder or glue palette, whatever you use. So basically on your jade stone, so pay close attention to your glue's behavior. If your glue is in any way gooey when you dip the extension in and pull it out, it's time to dispense a new one. And please don't lash with the gooey drop, because those extensions not gonna last on the client. Okay, so we talked about what happens if the humidity is too high in your lash room. Now let's talk about what happens if the humidity is too low. So too little relative humidity will slow everything down, and your adhesive will take longer to cure, which can also lead to sensitive eyes, as the vapors are looking for moisture and are naturally attracted to the moisture around the eye area, basically. So neighbor lashes may end up sticking together, causing stickies if the humidity is too low in your room. This is caused by the adhesive is taking too long to cure during the attachment. So it is so important to check your work for stickies, because they are extremely damaging to the natural lashes. Not only they are damaging, but they can also cause pain and discomfort for your clients throughout the wear. Lashes might so if your humidity is too low in your lash room, lashes might lean to the side or slip up on a placement when there are not enough humidity. So if you have a look at the first illustration, that's where I was trying to demonstrate when lashes are basically, you know, sliding or twisting when you attach them. And when the humidity is too low in your lash room, you are also not going to feel that instant kind of like magnetic attachment, you know, when you place the extension on the natural lash and it kind of just like, oh, where is my finger? It kind of just like, you know, magnetic attachment, the instant thing. You're not gonna feel that when the humidity is too low. The lashes are not sticking properly during the application because of the low humidity. You can grab a micro brush, dip it in some water and slightly wet the natural lashes to have the glue grab better. Just make sure you don't soak them, because that can lead to shock polymerization, what can turn the glue white. You know, we already talked about that. So basically we just want to add some extra moisture to the natural lashes so the glue will grab instantly. Right, where are we? So now I want to talk about the two most common myths when it comes to bed retention. Number one is that oil dissolves the glue, which will cause the lashes to fall out. Well, this is not true. This is not true, because when the glue is cured, it becomes sort of like a hard acrylic, and it is completely oil-proof. Have you ever heard stories about clients trying to remove their own lashes with baby oil or coconut oil at home, and they just couldn't? Or even if they said they did manage to get some off, probably they have pulled their own lashes out with the extensions too. Ouch. Oil cannot break the glue down. I can't express that hard enough. So oil cannot break the glue down when it's cured properly. However, if the client uses any oily products around the eye area, it can create an invisible layer on the natural eyelashes, and it can actually cause the fans to close because they're just gonna stick together. When this client comes back for an infill appointment and the lashes haven't been cleaned properly before the application, this invisible layer could prevent the extensions from sticking to the natural eyelashes. So that's why washing your client's lashes before the appointment is, is a must. Number 2 is getting the lashes wet after the application will cause the lashes to fall out. Now, this is also not true. So the lash adhesive cures within a few minutes, so it's completely safe to get the lashes wet. And if you have a sensitive client, not a sensitive client, if you have a client with sensitive eyes, so if you have a client with sensitive eyes, you can actually wash their lashes right after the treatment to prevent them from possible allergies. Did you know that the fumes from the glue can basically stay on the eyelashes and on the client's skin, like around the eye area, like on the eyelid and underneath the eye after the treatment? And if you tell them not to get their lashes wet for 24 to 48 hours, these fumes can actually cause irritation and in some cases allergic reactions. This is why allergic reactions usually show up within the first couple of days. So the symptoms can include itchy eyes if you haven't seen anyone with irritations before. So the symptoms can include itchy eyes, red, swollen and dry eyelids. So always tell your clients that it is completely safe to wash their lashes after the treatment and what can happen if they don't. Okay, so let's recap it quickly. So there is no such thing as magic glue out there, no matter what the big brands say. That's just good marketing, because majority of the glues on the market has these exact same 4 components. So cyanacrylate, PMMA stabilizer, and carbon black in the black adhesives, obviously, not in the clay ones. If you don't mix your glue properly, you will end up lashing with the top layers, which is stabilizer and PMMA, because carbon black and cyanacrylate is heavier than the other 2 components, so they sit at the bottom when not shaken properly. So your client's lashes will simply won't last when you reach half of the bottle and you're only gonna be lashing with the carbon black. So mix, always mix your lashes, always mix your glue. The other thing is, there is no shame in choosing a slower glue if that works better for you. Okay, so the drying time of the glue basically won't determine that how good of a lash artist you are, okay? Usually people who buy 0.5 second glues and they not experience enough, or they think they experience enough but they not, or their room conditions are not correct for that glue, they're just gonna end up causing bad retentions to their client on purpose because they wanted to buy the faster drying glue, basically. The other thing is, please avoid using any alcohol-based products, because alcohol-based, like primers, cleansers, or speed-up solutions, or whatever they call it, again, this is just my personal recommendation and my personal experience. So avoid using alcohol-based products, as these can damage your natural lashes in the long run. They can close the cuticles and they can dry the natural lashes out. So when it comes to lash preparation, use the shampoo and distilled water. Okay, you don't need to use any sort of synthetic alcohol-based products basically on the natural lashes. Okay. Other thing is, use enough glue. Okay, so at least 2 millimeters or 1/3 of the whole extension has to go in the glue, otherwise they just simply not gonna last. Okay. I think this is it, guys. So I really hope you enjoyed this presentation, and if you have any questions, don't be shy, just come and ask me. And I actually also prepared a cheeky little discount code for you if you want to learn more about this topic, or if you want to just, have a look around on our website. Just scan this code and use the discount code below here, and you will receive 20% off. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and just contact me if you have any questions. Have a lovely day.